Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we have some exciting news to cover. Naoki Yoshida, quote, leaked, unquote, some new Black Mage abilities in a live stream test over on Twitch. Now for those wondering what this test stream was for, Monday, May 22nd at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern, is going to be the next live letter covering the combat changes for Final Fantasy XIV's next expansion, Stormblood. So they did a test stream the day before, and Yoshi-P actually went around what looks to be Kugane, playing around with a few Black Mage abilities. So we got a little bit of a teaser of what's to come for this live letter. Now, I will be straight up with you guys. At this point, I have been to the media tour in San Francisco, and I have actually gotten hands-on time. Now, I'm not going to know everything that it is that we're seeing, but I'm not going to be telling you guys what I know from that event, and I'm not going to be revealing any information until a later date. So A, do not ask, and B, just look for it on my channel. It'll be coming as soon as I have all the content ready and available to present to you guys in a structure that I think will work well. That being said, let's cover what we see on the screen right here and in this little clip, because there is a lot of information to draw from this that give us an idea of what some of the new skills are going to be doing. Now, one thing that is not present here, they said they were going to be adding a bunch of like class-specific UIs. I don't see anything of that sort here. I don't know if they're hiding it. I don't know if Black Mage doesn't have one. But that's not present here, so we can't really talk about that. One thing that is present though in the top left corner is what looks to be like a mission tracker. I went on Reddit to see people who have translated some of the Japanese text on the screen, and they actually said that it's telling you what your next main scenario quest is, and I think the smaller quest one is your next side quest. I wonder if it's almost like an evolution of the recommended quests, which is not very good in Final Fantasy XIV, that is more efficient in helping you keep track of where your next quests are. I also don't see the normal duty lists, but that could also be turned off. So those are just the first few things that I'd like to point out. Now the next thing is one of the skills itself. So Yoshi-P has actually talked about a few of the things we're going to talk about now, so we kind of have an idea of what's actually happening here. So, the first thing is, I'll play the clip out. This is something he mentioned not too long ago, the ability to teleport to your ley lines. Now, I'd like to point out, I don't know if that's the actual cooldown, because that's a really, really low cooldown for teleporting to your ley lines, and that would greatly increase Black Mage's mobility. However, I'm sure they're on like a dev server or something like that, so it's always possible that they that value was just lowered so he could show it off multiple times in a row without having to, constantly wait for whatever cooldown it actually has. So any value or anything you see on the screen from what Yoshi-P is playing, you can consider it to be almost experimental or not final, I should say. Subject to change would be the term I'm looking for. Now, that's the first ability. He's mentioned it before, but what else can we see other than the things we've mentioned so far? So looking at his user interface, I don't see the D marker, which is a major disappointment for me. D for disappointment. He's got some of the PvP skills that I recognize on his bar. He's got, oh, this is one. So Thunder 1 and Thunder 2 are not present on his bar. I believe it was at the Korean live letter that he had mentioned two things. He had mentioned Enochian being permanent, which he doesn't use in this clip, so we can't really see if that's the case. But he also mentioned that Thunder 1, 2, and 3 would be consolidated into a spell that scales with levels. So like you get Thunder 1, and then eventually Thunder 1 becomes Thunder 2, and then Thunder 2 becomes Thunder 3, instead of having 3 buttons and creating a great deal of redundancy. Considering we don't see Thunder 1 and 2 on his bar, we can at least assume that that change or that addition to the game has been made. However, we do see what looks to be like a lightning-esque skill next to Thunder 3. Burst was in Final Fantasy XIV 1.0, so I'm wondering if it's the return of Burst. In which case, would it be the spell that we see in the benchmark trailer, which we've been kind of debating if that's Void Magic, if that's Thunder Magic. It's not made entirely clear. It's purplish, and yet it has the swirling, thing of death in the middle. So it's hard to tell. But, I mean, Burst would be my first guess. So for the remainder of the video, I'm just going to call it Burst because that's what my guess is that it actually is. Under Burst is another icon I'm unfamiliar with that has an incredibly low MP cost. I think, obviously, again, these values are not final, but it has a very, very low MP cost. So I'm curious what that is as well. It also is grayed out. So I'm wondering if there's like a special condition that needs to be met in order to actually use that skill. And I'm looking around. I'm trying to see if I see any other new icons. I see Scathe. I think that's Fire 4, Fire 3. I see Flare. Freeze is still there. That's interesting. A Pocket to Stasis is there. Blizzard 2 is there. Transpose is there. Fire 2. I see Sleep is still there. Now, this is interesting. If you look at his number 5, that looks like the virus icon, but it also looks like it's a different color. So I'm curious what that is right there. You can see some mounts on the right-hand side. You can see the PvP skills lining the top. Most of those are familiar. He also looks like he has some of the PvP like chat macros. Oh wait, is that I see Thunder, is that Thunder 2 over there on the right actually and it's grayed out, or is that just a grayed version of the other animation? That might actually be Thunder 2 right there. So I wonder if they didn't go through with that change. If you look like on the third hotbar all the way to the right, it looks like it's right next to Physic. I think that's the Thunder 2 one, so I wonder if they didn't get rid of it. But then it'd be weird why that's grayed out and Thunder 3 is not. So that, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of mysteries here. I think I see like Phantom Dart and a few other things. But I think that's all we can really glean. I think skill number 6 on the third hotbar is also new. Only because oh no, that's the one he was using to teleport to his ley lines. Okay. So like I said, we can glean a little bit of information out of this, but we can't really grab a whole lot. However, I do know there's one thing that I have not mentioned yet in this video, and for that, we are going to turn to Reddit and the translation experts. At some point, Naoki Yoshida had actually hovered over another skill, and so people immediately got to translating it over on Reddit. So people grab this screenshot, Light Samus, by the way, go to Reddit and give him some upvotes and whatnot, found this. He hovered over this skill at some point, something that has an instant cast time and is a 90-second recast. Now, without even translating it, you can see a few things. You can see it has no range, you can see it has no radius, you can see the number 3 and the number 15, and this is usually how long the effect itself actually lasts. Now, somebody on Reddit translated that screenshot, which I have to scroll back down to get to because of the way that this works, and where is it? All right, and they said that according to the text is that it's a 15-second effect that makes sure your next 3 spells have no cast time, which is insane. Now, keep in mind that according to this translation, it says no cast time. It doesn't say no recast time. So I have to assume that it's another mobility-focused spell. And considering they're trying to decrease the gap between a more casual, I was gonna say lower tier and higher tier, but that sounds almost like a discriminating factor. A player who's not as skilled as another player. They're trying to lower the gap between the difference in DPS between those two types of players. An ability that gives you this degree of mobility is something that both levels could definitely use to great effect, and it would feel good to use. So considering Black Mage's biggest problem is its lack of mobility, assuming that 90-second cooldown actually ends up being the final number, that would be incredibly impressive to have 2 abilities like that. But it makes me wonder, because that doesn't sound like Black Mage is changing all that much. It just sounds like we're getting a bunch of mobility spells. But, I mean, did Black Mage really need to change all that much? I don't know. I mean, mobility is the one thing that holds them back, and they've already consolidated some of the stuff. We got to notice some other things were missing there, but it's hard to really nail in on all of them. So, I mean, we can only guess what we can see in his UI right here, what he's hovered over and what he's actually done. So hopefully tomorrow for the actual live letter, we get to see this for like tons and tons of other jobs. I don't know if they'll do all 15 jobs, but my God, I hope they do as many of them as humanly possible so we can have as many videos tomorrow and discuss as many changes as humanly possible. But anyway, on that note, everyone, I'm going to wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of what you're seeing. If you notice anything that maybe I missed, discuss it in the comment section of the video below. And of course, please look forward to the live letter on May 22nd at 9 a.m. Pacific. And also remember, that one will have an official English translation. So, sorry, Marco, we don't need you for this one. But we love you, Marco. Can everyone say that they love Marco in the comment section below? Because Square Enix is trying to, he doesn't have a job when they don't do that. He's just, we love you, Marco. We love you. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. Stay tuned for all the information we're hopefully getting tomorrow. I'll see you then. And until then, take care.